Hello Group 402, this is our weekly feedback video for the week of June 1st. We had quite a few activities for this week, so I'm going to review some key points from those in the video. So first, I'm going to talk about the worksheet on multicultural UK, United Kingdom. So we had some questions, and I'm going to go over the answers. So at the beginning, we have the question, the UK is made up of 4 different countries. Can you name them? So I hope you took some guesses. The correct answer should have been, without looking on Google, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. So you should have gotten those 4. And if not, that's okay, you can make corrections. Now, the next question was, what are the capitals of those 4 countries? You should have gotten London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, and Belfast. So again, if you didn't get that, that's okay. Just write it along in with your answers. Now we have some true-false questions. Number 1, Southall Broadway has one of the largest Asian populations in the UK. The answer is true. This is a true statement based on the video that accompanied these questions. Question number 2, many British people have family that originally came from other countries. Also true based on the video. Question 3, the first big group of immigrants to the UK came from Jamaica by ship in 1943. Also true. Number 4, the Notting Hill Carnival is a celebration of Caribbean culture. Also true. Number 5, in the 1950s and 60s, Indian, Bangladeshi, and Pakistani immigrants came to the UK. True. Question 6, people from Somali came to the UK in the 1970s. Trick question here. This one was false. They did come, but not until the 1990s. So this one is wrong just because of the year. It's off by 20 years. Now, question 7. More recently, immigrants have come from Western Europe looking for work. Another tricky one. It's false because they did come from Europe looking for work, but they didn't come from Western Europe. They came from Eastern Europe. So based on that, this one is false. Number 8. Govinda found it difficult to get a job when he arrived in the UK as an immigrant. True. Number 9. In St. Mary's School in Wales, there are 10 different languages spoken. False. There are more than 20 different languages spoken. So they are at only half, and it's wrong based on that number. And number 10, the Open Cities project shows the positive sides to migration. True. So that covers that activity. I'm going to move on now to foreign words used in English. We had some questions here as well. First of all, they ask us, where did the English language originate? And we have 3 options. The correct option, based on the reading below, is that it came originally from Germany and the Netherlands, and then it was changed and modified to what it is today. Question 2, approximately how many words are there in the English language? And since there are more than 2 million, the closest answer to that would be more than 1 million, so that's the one you should have selected. Number 3, what percentage of English words actually have their origin in a different language? And you should have selected C, 80%. Question 4, how many languages is it estimated English has borrowed words from? And they actually say 350, so the closest answer to that would be 380, so you should have selected B, 380. Next, we have some words to determine, or we have some words to review, I should say, and then we have to determine if they are correct or incorrect. So hopefully you tried to do this without Googling them or without spell checking them with your computer, just from memory. And now you can check your answers against this. So number 1, embarrass is actually incorrect. To make this correct, we have to add a second R. So it should be spelled E-M-B-A-R-R-A-S-S. That would be the correct spelling. Number 2, occasion. Also, we have to add 1 letter to make this correct. So to make it correct, it's actually O-C-C-A-S-I-O-N. Actually, they also misspelled this because they added the second S. So the correct spelling is with 2 C's and 1 S. Okay? Number 3 is spelled correctly. No changes needed. Number 4, they are missing a letter. So acquiesce spelled correctly is A-C-Q-U-I-E-S-C-E. So they left out the C, and that's what you have to add to make that correct. Number 5 is recommend. So in this word, they actually have 1 too many letters. To make this correct, we simply have to remove one of the first C's, which leaves us with RECOMMEND, and that would be correct. Number 6 and 7, responsible and necessary, are correct. No changes needed. Number 8, pronunciation. So to make that correct, we actually have to spell it out PRONUNCIATION. So instead of pronunciation, the way they wrote it, it's actually pronunciation. So you really just need to get rid of the O, the second O in the word, and then you would be correct. Okay. Number 9, professional. So with this word, it's actually double S, single F. So spelled correctly, it would be PROFESSIONAL. And number 10, immediately. So to spell it correctly, we have to change the A to an E. So it would be IMMEDIATELY. So it would be immediately, not immediately. Okay. Number 11, foreign, that is spelled correctly. Number 12, accessible, is spelled incorrectly. So we have to spell it ACCESSIBLE. So instead of accessible, it's accessible. So you swap the A out for an I. Number 13, aficionado, that is correct. No changes needed. 14, anniversary. We actually need to swap out one letter here. So instead of it being anniversary, it's anniversary with an A. So we need to get rid of the E at the end and replace it with an A, then it's correct. Number 15, ingenious. In this word, we are missing a letter. We need an O. So to make it correct, we would spell it out INGENIOUS, and then we would be correct. And 16 is correct, so no changes needed there. Moving on, they ask us some reading comprehension questions, and I'm going to go over the answers. The first question, what explanation does the writer give for the prevalence of English words borrowed from French? And that is due, based on what they said, to the Norman invasion of 1066. There was a cultural exchange there, and that's where we picked up a lot of words from French. Okay. Number 2, they are asking us, why does the writer think the English language uses words from Hindu or Urdu? And that is because the British spent a lot of time in India as a colonial power, and that has given the language words from Hindi or Urdu, such as bungalow, pajamas, khaki, and shampoo. Number 3, what explanation does the writer give for the difficulty of English spelling and pronunciation? It is often remarked that English spelling and pronunciation is confusing and unpredictable, but once you start to recognize that it's a hodgepodge, which is a word from French, the language actually is, and it makes sense, and it all starts to come together. Okay? Moving on, we had an activity or a worksheet about the benefits of being bilingual. So I'm going to talk about the first exercise. So the answer to the first question was false, since they will only face temporary difficulties, and later on they'll actually enjoy certain benefits. Number 2 was true. They actually tend to receive slightly better grades, so if anything, being bilingual helps these young students in school. Number 3 is true as well. And even though they might develop it later on, they are less likely to do so, if at all, and if they do get it, it'll be further, like they'll be older, it'll be years later. So it actually helps to prolong the development of that. Number 4 is false. Adults might struggle with accents more. However, because of their larger vocabulary in their native language, they're actually better at picking up vocabulary in the new language because they can make more word associations. So that's good, that's a benefit for them. And number 5 is true. It is easier to learn more languages once you have learned at least 2, because now you have strategies, you have made word associations, and you can apply those tactics towards the next language. So basically it gets easier and easier once you pick up more. So that covers exercise 1. I'm going to transition now to exercise 6, where they asked us to rewrite a sentence with the same meaning as the first one using the stem that they provide. So I'll go over the answers, and if you got anything similar to my answer, you did a good job. So number 1, they gave us, people say that the best way to learn a foreign language is to live in the country. Based on their STEM, what I got is that living in the country is the best way to learn a foreign language. Number 2, people used to think that adults couldn't lose the accent from their first language. And what I got is that it was believed that adults could not lose the accent from their first language. Number 3, they say people estimate that over 1,500 different languages are spoken in India. My answer, it is estimated that over 1,500 different languages are spoken in India. Number 4, they say people estimate that only 20% of Americans speak a second language. My answer, only 20% of Americans speak a second language, comma, according to estimates. Same meaning, but I rewrote it following their STEM. And number 5, they say 100 years ago, people considered that talking to a baby in 2 languages was a bad thing. My answer, 100 years ago, talking to a baby in 2 languages was considered a bad thing. So I kept the meaning, I followed their STEM, and I rewrote the sentence. So if you got anything similar to that, you would be correct. And that wraps it up for today's video. If you have any questions, of course, let me know as usual. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.